Hello, welcome to the Victory Win Show. I'm Victory Win. Hope everybody's having a great day. Here in the Pacific Northwest today, we have beautiful sunshine, perfect weather. It's just my favorite part of spring. And it just reminds me that summer's around the corner, which is my favorite season. So you'll hear a lot about that. It means music in the park, concerts outside, picnics, all kinds of fun things. So I hope everyone's enjoying their day. Today is my podcast episode number 11. And after you hear and listen, I would love it if you would give us a comment on whatever format you listen to podcasts on. And also subscribe to my channel. You can also email me at victorywinenterprises@gmail.com. So the episode title today is Walk the Shame Out. And I have the title because that's the name of the organization that my guest has today. I'm going to be having a guest today and interviewing her. And I'm so excited about that because she reached out to me after my podcast that I did talking about childhood sexual assault and my story. And we had a connection and I immediately felt it. And so I asked her if she'd be willing to come on the podcast and talk about her organization because I think her organization is so amazing and she has so much to offer. So today I'm going to have Adeline, and she's on the phone with me because we don't live in the same place. So this is my first phone interview and I'm just, excited. So hi, Adeline.
Hi, Victory. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, especially because we had to reschedule a couple times and with our schedules, but it's working and I love it. So, I can't wait for you to tell everyone about your organization and why you started it. So, if you'd like to do that for us, that'd be great.
Sure. So, I started this. It's actually a nonprofit movement. I have a sponsor, fiscal sponsor, that is like, on top of the organization. But it's Walk Your Shame Out, and it's the idea behind is basically for survivors of childhood sexual abuse to overcome the shame that they feel. And usually the shame is what prevents you from speaking. The shame that we can feel as a survivor, but also we can feel also ashamed to share our story because it's such a taboo topic. So the idea is to overcome this shame through a visible sign, and it's in my case, it's a sweatshirt. So the organization is offering free sweatshirts to survivors. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're a survivor, please contact me through the website and you can order your free sweatshirts. I would be very happy to send it to you. And also the idea behind is like once, survivors come out of the silence and the shame is also to use their experience to help bring awareness and also prevent. It's not like we can change our story, but we can change the narrative, I felt, for the children.
Yes.
So here you go. That's the mission of Walk Your Shame Out. And it started, I'm a survivor, and I was sexually abused when I was 7 years old. I'm part of, it may sound weird, but I'm part of the 10% lucky one, if I may say, because my abuser was not my close circle. So I was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And even though I had the courage to speak about what happened to my parents, it was, I think, so difficult for them to deal with this news that they wanted to pretend that it didn't happen. So nothing was done. And I think they also believed that I would forget. But of course I didn't. So it's tough. And I think the shame that they felt as parents as well to not have been able to see and protect me was also what kept them silent. So, the shame around this topic needs to end. And I would love for survivors to be able to openly speak about their story, and for society to face this issue. And it's not because we don't talk about something that it doesn't exist. It exists, and quite the opposite. So so the Work Your Shame Out was started as a personal challenge that I gave myself. I was tired of having to carry the weight of the silence and the shame.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, few people around me knew my story, like good friends, of course, my parents, but actually not the extended family, because they also never spoke about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I had to protect this silence, but it was really affecting me. And like for many survivors, when you keep this silence, you also kind of the silence can be very loud inside. So
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of anger. I went through periods of addictions. I also had weight issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there is a lot of judgment from society on symptoms, but they don't. I see that people don't necessarily want to understand the story behind. So I wanted to speak up about my story, but it's difficult to come, to go to someone and say, "Hi, my name is Adeline, and I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse."
Yeah, not really how you want to start a conversation.
Oh no, it's a conversation killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I decided to create a sweatshirt that would carry my message. And also, when you wear the sweatshirt, you forget about what it says on top of it. And the first version of the sweatshirt was actually pretty direct. It was like a childhood sexual abuse survivor written in big letters, and in the front of my sweatshirt. And I challenged myself to wear it in a mall one day. It was like before Christmas, so I knew it would be busy, and I wanted to see people's reaction. And also for this sweatshirt that I ordered through a specific website, I had to order 6 minimum. So I said to myself, okay, whoever comes to me, encouraging me and congratulating me, I would give them one of my extra sweatshirts.
Oh, okay, that's great.
And it really started like that. And but what happened is that nobody came to me, even though they saw the message, because it was difficult to miss. And nobody came to me, but I could see all the looks. So they would be looking at me, and then they would look down. So I also witnessed this shame. I believe there were like survivors around, because unfortunately there are too many of us.
Yes.
But I also felt the look of like, okay, it's such a shameful topic. It's a shame that it even exists. I understand, but I could feel the shame in people's look.
Yeah.
So I was very proud of myself for doing that, but also it got me thinking of like, okay, something needs to be done to, not have this silence from society on this topic. So that's when I thought about creating a different sweatshirt with, a message that wouldn't be as direct. So now the sweatshirt is like a person walking, and with the name of the movement, Walk Your Shame Out, with really this idea of like going out on a walk and expose your story, expose your message, but at the same time feel like it's okay. So the sweatshirt was created a little bit differently, and then this idea of giving sweatshirts away, really started the movement. So I want them to be free for survivors because I don't want any barrier, I really want survivors to take that leap for themselves and come out of the silence. And also because I believe, the silence is requested from the abuser in the first place.
Yes.
And then the fact that society keep us quiet as well. It's almost like if we, by remaining silent, we almost like honor the silence that was requested from the abuser. So, yeah, to my point of view, this cycle needs to be broken. Yes. And I'm very happy that I did it. I'm happy to wear my sweatshirt everywhere I go. And I think ever since that day, I felt much better, and I openly talk about my story now. And and I wish for others to do the same.
Well, thank you so much. And wow, just listening to that, I feel a lot of things, but I feel like, in telling my story as well, it sounds like we have, the survivors, we end up having a lot of things in common. And the fact that, you talk about the shame and just putting that out there, for me, it just validates how I felt for such a long time. And speaking for myself as a survivor, that didn't come for a really long time in my life. And so I just thank you, because I hear you so loudly in terms of, the abuser tells you to keep the secret. And as a child, we have so many different ideas about secrets, and depending on, our family culture, are secrets okay? Are they not okay? It just depends. And, but usually in most it's not okay to keep secrets. And so, that is so hard to carry for such a long time. You're right. Like you said that, and it's so true. And so it feels very empowering for me when I am able to tell my story, and I see that it impacts people in a positive way. And when I told my story and did the podcast, you reached out. I had quite a few people reach out and thank me for doing it. And the most common thing they said was that, I was so brave, and which I appreciate. And also that just even to put my name and my face out. And I'm in a place in my healing where I am like, yeah, because this was not my fault. And it took a really long time to get there. And so having an organization like yours, I feel is really something that we need as survivors, like you said, so that we can feel more empowered and not feel like it was our fault. And that's where the shame comes from. Like we did something wrong, but knowing that, we're children, we didn't do anything wrong. But it's so hard to overcome that hurdle. It was for me. And when I talk to other survivors, and I hear it in your story, it is for all of us. And then also, I want to point out, like when you went to your family, I'm sure they just don't know what to do. And that's very common, families. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of us don't tell our families. I was always very protective of my family and of my parents as a child and throughout my life. And so having to, say what happened out loud was hard enough. But, the abuser is in your ear saying they won't, at least for me, he said, they won't believe you. They won't, do all these things that I knew could happen. And when you're like, I was young like you, and so you don't know how to discern all that as a child naturally. So yeah, just I love how you say it, bringing it out into the light, walk, going for a walk and bringing it out. I just think that that's so empowering. And I have your sweatshirt and I love it. I love the idea. The sweatshirt is great and I will wear it everywhere. Because I just, awareness is the most important thing. That's my whole mission behind this podcast, is to bring about awareness and understanding of things, like you said, that oftentimes, you're judged for in your recovery from sexual assault. And that's another great point that you made. I felt judged many times. And honestly, because until I realized why I was eating ice cream 4 times a day instead of real food, or why I was, that's my addiction, or why I was not picking people to have healthy relationships with, and just, how I could overcome, how did I overcome those things? Because when you're in it, it's very, very hard to know or see why it's happening. Yeah.
Yes. And you see some patterns, like in my personal situation, because I had the courage to speak, but nothing happened. I have some trigger around, like when I say something and nobody listens or nobody acts behind. This is really triggering me. And unfortunately, being the mom of 2 kids, there's a lot of that, when you ask things and they don't necessarily do it. So anyway, yeah, that's, and I've realized that, it's like a pattern of like anger that is based on this story. And we all have that, but I think survivors particularly. And I want to add to what you said perfectly. There's something also about, how this silence is a way to protect, and you said you protected your parents, and that's what I did too. I remained silent. I didn't speak about it because I understood from that day that my parents didn't want to talk about it. But and same, I protected society or my friends from my story because I thought that they wouldn't be able to bear with all those details or this information or this part of me. But by doing that, I think we protect no one. Right. Because we protect them from hearing the truth and also from acting to prevent. So since I spoke up, my goal is also for my parents to seek help, because now it's out there and people know my story. So I'm sure that others reached out to them and say, "Oh, we didn't know about that. How are you feeling?" I hope that for them. And same, I think the people who now, when you speak it up to your circle, then they can learn from it. And this is another side of the project, is really to use to gather the insights of survivors and to better help and prevent.
Yes.
And so on my website, there is like a part where survivors can fill a form and with suggestions they have. And then I gather information for the public to look at. And ever since I talked about my story, I received great insights from survivors. So also that's, by speaking about our story, we can... there are some patterns, and that the grooming, the silence, like you said. So by hearing all our experiences, we can gather some very valuable information to help prevent.
Absolutely. And I absolutely agree 100%, because the more we talk about it, just like anything, the more awareness there is. And also, again, the validation, validating each other and being able to say, like, yes, this happened to me. And wow, it happened to so many other people. I'm not the only person. Because I think that's another part of it. for so many, my whole entire childhood, I felt like I was the only person that it was happening to, because when I did share it with like best friends, they were just like, what do and I was so glad it wasn't happening to them. But then again, the shame that it was happening to me, like I said in my story, when I did the podcast and told my story, I really felt like I had some sort of sign that I couldn't see flashing on my head that said, please, sexually abuse me. I didn't, or what was I doing wrong? I would go through a whole list, like when I was a teenager, especially, like, I'm not dressing provocatively. I'm not, I'm not inviting this. Sometimes, I like to flirt with boys, because I'm heterosexual. I like to flirt with boys, but I didn't like to flirt with men. And, so it's a very big distinction. And so, when you're, 13, 14, 15, and I was more aware of it before that, but because the abuse started when I was 8 and continued through my childhood. But, you become more aware of like sexuality and stuff. There's a list, right? Like I was going through the list, like, oh, is this my fault? What am I doing wrong? Why does this keep happening? And it was happening in so many different places in my life, at school, at home, with neighbors that I babysat for. It was just like so many things. And so, yeah, I feel like hearing other people's stories is so validating for me. And every time I hear someone else's story, honestly, Adeline, it takes more of my shame away.
Yeah.
Because it takes a long time for that.
And it creates a community, and we can support each other for sure. Because this is, the silence that isolates you. So I'm so glad that I met you through your podcast, because you spoke, we made this connection, and I'm very, very glad about that. So, and also since I spoke and I launched the movements, I had some people reaching out, but people that I know for years now, who actually opened up about their personal story of sexual abuse. And, we've been friends for many years, and this was not a topic we discussed. And I feel like it created a deeper connection with these people. So I really love this community that I'm building with survivors, and you're doing the same. I just wish now, because survivors can seek help, like through association, organization, or even like groups. But it seems like the topic is so taboo that it needs to be dealt in some communities that we understand, and I get it. But at the same time, I really wish there could be a bridge between those organizations, all of those communities, and the general public. And so, that's my ultimate goal.
Yes. Well, I feel like you and I are going to continue working together to help make that happen. And we'll invite others to help us as well, and just continue to grow this community. I thank you so much for coming today and doing this with me, by phone, because I would love if we were in person. But I hope someday we are in person together. But for now, this works great. Thank you, technology. Could you tell folks how they could reach you, where they can reach out and ask for a sweatshirt, or just reach out and keep the conversation going?
Sure. So the name of the movement is Walk Your Shame Out, and the website is www.shameout.com. And yes, please order your free sweatshirts. I will send it to you. And if you're not a survivor but you want to help the cause, you can actually donate so we can buy more sweatshirts for survivors. So far, I have 30 to give, but I would need, at some point, I would need donations to keep the movement going. And there is also a T-shirt for friends of survivors to support the cause. So if you're a family member of a survivor, you can also support them by wearing this T-shirt. So anyway, check the website and please contact me. I would love that. And thank you so much, Victoria, for having me today.
Yeah, and please go on to the website, www.shameout.com. It's a great website. I've been on it. Obviously, I ordered my sweatshirt, and there's good information. And also social media. Adeline is on social media with the Walk the Shame Out. And you can look her up, Facebook, Instagram. I know you did a live. I saw it about grooming. You did a live I guess it'd be just a lot. You went live. I don't know, but you were live.
Some reels on Instagram.
Yes,
I'm new to that. Yeah. I'm new to that, but I'm learning. But I want the message to be diffused. So I take my courage because I'm an introvert. So putting me out there is difficult. But there's so much to do. So
Well, you're amazing. You're so wonderful. And I just appreciate you coming on. So as always, I pick a song of the day. Well, I asked Adeline if she would pick the song of the day for me today, and she was so gracious to do that. And it's a beautiful song. I can't wait for y'all to hear it. So I'm going to have her tell you what the name of the song is and the artist.
Yeah, sure. So it's Sofiane Pamart is the artist, and the song is called Public.
Perfect. What a great song. Well, thank you again, and I really appreciate it, and I'm sure you and I will be in touch soon.
I hope so. Thank you so much, Victoria.
Thank you again, and I look forward to the next podcast. In the meantime, please take care of yourselves and each other, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.